Hello friends, we have just made it down from, it is quite windy. I know you probably can't hear it because my windscreen is amazing, but you can probably see the tent moving. We have just made it down from Sequoia National Park. While I thought I was going to explore this day, I don't think that's what's going to happen. So first, welcome to the park. As you can see behind me, I am in one of the park campgrounds. So this is Black Rock Campground. I'll discuss how I feel about this campground maybe a little bit later. It's 2 p.m. right now, and I just got done traveling for the last 3 days, and there was a lot of driving, and I'm honestly exhausted. So I don't think I'm going to be going into the park today, rather going to a cafe to kind of recharge and sit in the air conditioning. It's quite hot. I did luckily get a spot that has this ginormous tree over us so that we have lots of shade. But I'm most excited for stargazing tonight because I just now, last night, for the first time, saw the Milky Way when I was dispersed camping in near Kern River in California. So we're still in California, so hopefully that will be the case here where there isn't much light pollution like anywhere. And people come here very often to stargaze because it is just wide open skies, and then you have the beautiful Joshua trees as the accent. So we're going to just hang out for tonight. I'm going to go recharge, and then tomorrow I'm going to show you around the park and all the fun things to do, and it is my first time in the park, so we're going to have lots of fun, and I will see you tomorrow. I already have one.
Have a great day.
Thanks. Good morning. We have renewed energy. I'm still a little bit sleepy, but we're feeling better, and that's what's most important. So we've just entered the park, and I am headed to what looks to be my first spot. I think is going to be Hall of Horrors. It looks like a long road until that spot. Yeah, 8.8 miles until like the first part, I think. So I'll tell you what, this park is not walkable. I want to talk about something that I did last night. So rather than, and like I said in the beginning video, which was very low energy, I apologize for that. But I went and recharged, and usually what I do is I'll find like the nearest cafe. And that's exactly what I did. So the cafe that I went to is called Frontier Cafe, and it was really good. I also kind of forgot that Joshua Tree is known for like being a hippie spot, and I don't know what you think of when you think of hippie, but I think of like bell bottoms, like very unique haircuts, like the circle sunglasses that are like different colors. That's what I'm vibing with. And that's exactly the population that was there. And I just like, it hit me by surprise because I have been driving so much that my brain is just fried. And I was just like, oh, interesting. I forgot about that. So Frontier Cafe had so many good options. I think they had a lot of like vegan and vegetarian options too. And then they had a bunch of good coffee. I got a chai latte because it was like 2 p.m. And that was just enough. You know, it's just enough. And then attached to that is a little like boutique type deal, and that was adorable. And I got a sticker there and a magnet because I got all of the postcards that I wanted at the Black Rock Campground like tourist information center. And I'll talk more about the campground later in the video. I have been really loving I don't know who is designing them, but it's like a retro kind of poster style of the national parks, and they have them in these postcards. They also have posters of them, but I've only been getting the postcards because those are 50 cents, not $35, and sending them out. And so I only found a couple at the first visitor center that I went to, and then I went to the one at my campground, and they had all of them. So I was very excited about that. So sent all of those out. I also didn't realize that Joshua Tree is right next to a town, like Yucca Valley, I think is what it's called, is the nearest town, and it is like a fully populated town. Like, I mean, there was a house literally 20 feet before the entrance to the park. So people really do live out here. I wonder what it was like living here, and then all of a sudden your backyard gets turned into a national park. Weird. If you missed my last video, I have been traveling. I went up to Sequoia National Park and Kings Canyon and then headed south from there. So I did my first big drive from Phoenix, 10.5 hours on Friday. Whew, that was a long one. And then camped in Sequoia and then camped on the south end, not in the park, but outside of the park. That one was weird and difficult to get to. This is gonna be the final day of driving. It's now Monday. And I have circled things on the map that I want to see. But honestly, I feel like this park, the vibes that I'm getting is that it's more about enjoying the entire park rather than a few specific spots, because the whole thing is pretty cool. I have heard that only the Joshua trees grow on the north end, which is where I'm at right now. So as you get further to the south end, there's not quite as much. But fun fact, there's actually a Joshua tree forest in Arizona. So it's not that I'm not impressed with this right now, but I've seen it before. So it's not like something crazy to me. I imagine if you don't live in a desert landscape, this is probably like the wildest thing you've ever seen, because there is a ton of them over here. But the first thing that we're going to hopefully is Hall of Horrors, but I have heard that it's difficult to get to. Like, you can't exactly find it. It's just a park and walk, like a little trail. So I'm not really sure if I'll actually be able to find it. It's on the map, so I would assume that I'd be able to find it, but you never know. So that's gonna be our first stop. I lied, we're going to Keys U first. So where are we? So we just came down this road and Hall of Horrors is right here. And we've just come all the way down here. And we're gonna go look at this viewpoint because it's supposed to be, you know, it's on top of the mountains, as you can see. And I can already see there's gonna be a pretty good view. Okay, quick stop for that one because, oh my god, that was so windy. I couldn't even like talk or think or do anything. I thought I was gonna fall off of the edge, honestly. Okay, well, I guess we'll head back up. So I made the decision to stop at Cap Rock because it was on the way and it's still very windy. But they have a 0.3 mile loop that you can just walk around. It's just like a little nature loop. And there's lots of information. It's really kind of cute. So I'm kind of in the back part of it now where it's mostly rocks. Probably one of the best days that I could have picked for this, honestly. Yesterday it was pretty hot. Today it's like 70. It's very windy, so it's kind of helping to cool off, but it's not bad. It's really nice, actually. So this is kind of fun. I wouldn't be expecting anything too extreme when you come to this park. While everything is the same, everything is different. Everything is different. So really take your time to enjoy all the different intricacies of the wildlife, the nature, just everything. And there's the namesake of the spot. That is Cap Rock, looking like a little cap. From the road you can really see how much it overhangs. And it's a wonder that it's still there, honestly. Okay, so I just got to Hall of Horrors and it's definitely the busiest spot. Like, the other ones really didn't even have anybody there. I have no idea why it's called Hall of Horrors. None. So I guess we're just gonna find out. I'm assuming somewhere in there is like a crevice that's supposed to be scary. The problem with these places is that there's not really a trail because everybody makes their own trails. It sounds like every time you find a crevice, it's basically a Hall of Horror. I don't know. Maybe it's because somebody got stuck. I will have to, rather you're gonna have to look that one up because I'm too tired to find out. It really doesn't bother me to not know. Does that make me a bad quote-unquote influencer? Maybe. Do I care? No. It's just a desert. It's fine. I feel like this is really just a big adult playground. Oh, and child playground. So, I'm gonna keep moving on because honestly, listen, I live in the Sonoran Desert. We're in the Mojave Desert right now, and we're gonna be going into the Colorado Desert as we leave. I see enough desert life. It's all the same to me. Now, I can't appreciate how vastly different it actually is, but I see it every day. So, probably a lot more interesting to someone who doesn't live in the desert. And as we make our way more south, sort of, we're going east right now. Irrelevant. We're gonna head down to Jumbo Rocks and Skull Rock, which I think is one of the more popular areas because we got Jumbo Rock, Skull Rock, and Split Rock all within the same 3-mile vicinity. And then our last stop after that is gonna be Arch Rock. This is definitely one of those parks that you can see in a day because while it all looks the same, there's different ways to explore. But if it's hot, you're definitely not gonna wanna spend more than a day here. At this point, I was racking my mind thinking what else there was to see in this park because I just wasn't wowed. And then I came up with this fun game. And so I'm going to show you all the most interesting shaped Joshua trees that I could find. Alright, I did pass by Jumbo Rocks, and as you probably guessed, they're really big rocks. So I've seen rocks before. I don't know about you. There is one cool geological fact that I will share with you, and I'll show you if I see it because I thought it was really cool when I was like looking up information for these. But now we're at Skull Rock. Parking here is even more busy, so I just parked on the side of the road. And I'm gonna walk up, and oh, I already see it. People are taking pictures, of course. As you can probably guess by the name, it looks like a skull. Now I came all the way up here just to show you this split in the rock. So these lines that you can see in between some of the rocks. Very fun fact that I learned. So what happens and why these boulders are so big is because magma underground was trying to come up, but then it ended up cooling before it could actually come up. Basically, these have been embedded under the ground for however many years, thousands, millions, I don't know. And eventually all the soil around it gets washed away. But in the process of that, these are cooling to the point where they crack a little bit. So then by the time that they come up into where they're actually exposed, new sediment has filled in those cracks and become hard, therefore giving us the different lines of markation to indicate where they had cracked when they were still forming. I just think that's pretty cool. Okay, next stop is Split Rock, which is taking us on a gravel road, but it looks to be very well maintained. So you shouldn't have any problems getting here, even if you are driving a car like me, except for these washboards. I hate the washboards, but so far not too many. So Split Rock, here we come. I bet you will never guess what I found out here. It's a split rock. Don't know how it happened. Weather, I'm sure. But wow, that's a lot bigger than I thought it was. Let me give you some perspective. Alright, so far we have traveled all the way from here. This is where we camped last night. We went up and out, in through the west entrance, all the way down here, went up to Keys View, back up through Hall of Horrors, and we are here now. So we're gonna make our way to Arch Rock, and then that will be most likely the last thing we'll see. You never know. I didn't do this, but I had to point it out because it's kind of funny. This Cholla is a Swiftie. Taylor has taken over the world. Okay, Arch Rock is somewhere over there, but there's literally no trail marked. I'm not feeling it. So I'm just gonna head out. I've seen arches before, and I'm sure you have too. But if you haven't, I mean, maybe, but there's literally no trail out here. It's just desert and some footpaths. So we're gonna skip on this one and head to the Cholla Cactus Garden. I really thought that I had missed it because I've been driving for a while, but oh, we found it all of a sudden. There is just like a bajillion Cholla cactus. Now, don't touch these because they're also known as jumping cactus because these little, I don't know what you want to call them, their arms, they fall off very easily. So if you touch them, it's likely that it will attach to you, fall off of the plant as if it jumped onto you. But aren't these just neat? They look like they're cuddly. They are not. These ones are really interesting because they look burnt on the bottom. Okay, so it is time now to head on down the road. As you can see, I changed into my glasses just because I don't know if it's dust or just like I need to change my contacts, but my eyeball was hurting so bad. Just my right one, not my left. So the solution to that is take your contacts out. Looks like going down this road to the south entrance. First of all, I want to mention that there is now no longer any Joshua trees in sight. Like, I can see for miles, there's not a single Joshua tree. So if you're coming in from the south entrance, it's gonna be a little disappointing at first, but just hold on to hope. The north end is pretty freaking sweet. It looks like on the map, there is an area that is an Ocotillo patch, and we have Ocotillo in Arizona, and I love them. I call them desert seaweed. I just think they are the coolest things ever, and I see a few as I'm driving now, but I'm assuming that Ocotillo patch means there's going to be a bunch of them. So I'll stop and check that out just so I can show you guys what those look like because they're one of my favorite things. Oh, and it looks like they're blooming too. Also, we have now officially crossed over into the Colorado desert. So this is kind of where both of those deserts meet, and on the map it talks about that. And I'm sure if you were to take a geology tour, you would also learn about that. I am hoping to see some of those Ocotillo because throughout the year, they go through a season of dormancy where they're just completely brown and they just look like spiky sticks. And then they also go through a season of growth where they are bright green because they have leaves all over them. Yeah, they're starting to pick up. I can see a bunch of them. I wonder if this is the exhibit. And right now, they're green. So that's why I'm like, oh, that one's so cool. Sorry, this is too cool. I freaking love these things. Check this out. Yes, I took my glasses off just for pictures. Look at how absolutely beautiful this is. I don't know what it is about it. I just love it. Because normally, so during their dormancy season, they don't have any of these greens. So it's literally just the hard sticks underneath, and there's a bunch of spikes in there. So people actually, when these die off or they'll dry them out, they will use them as natural fence posts and just line each branch up next to each other and then kind of wrap those together. You can't tell me this doesn't look like desert seaweed. Okay, that is going to wrap up my visit to Joshua Tree National Park. I did this all in one day, I mean, aside from camping. I would recommend that you actually come to the park at night. It's honestly one of those parks where everything's, hate to say it, but kind of boring. So being able to be somewhere that is unique, like a Joshua Tree is very unique, but when that's the only thing you're seeing, it feels boring. So when you add in then also being able to see the stars on top of that, it kind of makes it more exciting. I did say I was going to talk about the campground. I would not recommend staying in Black Rock Campground for a multitude of reasons. I'm going to do a separate video on it. It'll be short and sweet just because I know that I look up YouTube videos when I'm looking for campgrounds if I'm going to use a campground and not dispersed camping. And I would just like to, you know, put it out there in the world what that one looks like. It's not great. The roads are pretty bad because they don't really have the infrastructure to handle the rainfall when it does come, so it completely washes out the roads and they just haven't fixed them. I will say it was extremely windy when I was like setting up and when I was just hanging out during the day, but as soon as the sun went down, the wind was gone. I'm all night, it was dead silent. It was the weirdest thing, and then as soon as the sun came up again, wind. But with that, I will leave you guys. That is going to conclude this video, and I hope you liked it, and if you did, make sure to click that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell if you want to see more of my content. And remember that because this is a national parks video, I'm never going to make money from it because of their new regulations. So I would just like to share this information with you, but the best way you can support me is to actually hit that subscribe button and watch out for future videos. But I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.